So, historically, I've not really been one for conspiracy theories because for the most part, it feels kind of like watching half of a movie and not knowing the ending. That's how I feel about conspiracy theories. I don't have that sense of joy because there's no concrete conclusion I can come to. And that to me is absolutely maddening. That being said, every so often, I take a little look at what's going on in the conspiracy theory world, ? Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I was on TikTok just scrolling, and my TikTok, to be clear, my algorithm is basically all body cam footage from police officers investigating very weird cases and hair transformations. There's very little in between, and I'm generally fine with that algorithm. However, today I came across a video of a content creator commenting on TikTok that Britney Spears had posted, and I think you can see how I fell down a rabbit hole. Now, to be clear, I was very aware of theories surrounding Britney Spears, and there are a lot of theories out there, especially since the conservatorship. It's just been a fucking mess. We don't know what to believe. We don't know who to believe. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's real. We don't know what's sensationalized. It's just overall a complicated situation. Now, let me preface this by saying that I'm not going to say protective of Britney Spears, I feel like that would be odd, but I was a super fan of Britney Spears from the age of 6. A lot of posters, just a lot. Britney Spears, a lot. So all of this is very saddening to me. And I bring this up not for any big reason other than she has a special place in my childhood, and therefore seeing all of this makes me very sad. If there are some responses that are more emotional than logical, you have an explanation. Anyway, let me just show you what I came across and we can discuss.
On another episode of Where the Fuck is Britney Spears, why is nobody talking about yesterday's late night post on October 15th, 2025? The ending is really fucking weird.
Forget about Are You Down, Down, Baby Down. Britney almost fell down. Did you notice here the bunny hop splash that almost busted? And her hair is green on the ends, and it looks like she may have had a stroke on the right side of her body. But besides all that, at the end of the video last night, all of a sudden, out of like a scary Halloween video, at the very end of her dancing, this happens. Ah! Fucking Cade. God damn, where'd he come from? As if the video wasn't scary enough, now I've got to see Britney Spears. She looks like the love child of Jamie Spears and Kate Hudson mixed. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at here. Please don't wink at me like that. I'm mortified. And then she's touching her nose. I don't know what's going on here. What does that mean? It's like some weird face swap app. Is this supposed to be like, hey, we're coming out, we're telling y'all this is obviously AI? I don't know. What do you guys think about this weird shit?
Okay, so an important thing to count in this video is that there are a lot of comments with a lot of theories, and honestly, that's part of why I wanted to discuss it, because sure, there are TikToks with theories, and that's one thing, and granted, we're only getting a sliver of the audience, right? Because the people commenting on this probably are going to be people who agree, who have something to add, as opposed to me, I'm just going to scroll past it, right? Although I didn't scroll past this. So the thing is, in the comments, a lot of people are saying that it hasn't been her for years. There are a lot of theories out there that she's dead. There are theories that she was cloned and that she's being held somewhere. There are theories that it's Jamie Lynn Spears with an AI filter of Britney on her face. There are so many crazy theories. That being said, I think the central thing in a lot of these TikToks, as you'll see going forward, is that she does not seem to want to be doing these TikToks sometimes, and I think that's what's odd, because realistically, you know, maybe there are times where she's not in the mood, but sometimes it really seems like she's being held at gunpoint to do these TikToks. Does that make sense? And in fact, in this video, I really got that impression. That being said, there are a lot of comments that are talking about medication and a bunch of other things that might be in the way, mental illnesses potentially. So I don't want to judge that too harshly. And that's also why I have stayed away from theories about Britney Spears, because I really don't want to jump the gun and say, oh my God, she's been body snatched, she's been cloned, it's mental illnesses, because of what she's gone through, you know? But I do think it's an important discussion to have, because if this is a conversation that's going on, ignoring it is not necessarily going to help anything. On the contrary, if there's something weird going on, we should discuss it. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering if any of this has to do with the conservatorship, if there's someone directing her to do this. Like, why are these TikToks happening if they're not just for fun, right? And potentially making money, question mark. I don't know if she's monetized. I can't really imagine that she needs it, but I'm just, why? That's my question, especially when she seems to not want to be there. Okay, so as you'll note, these are just videos of her showing herself, showing her personality. There was no audio on these videos apart from copyrighted music. So the point of these clips is just to show you the difference in her mannerisms, in her overall demeanor, seemingly in her personality. And again, we return back to what I said earlier. These can all be explained away via your mental state, mental illness, where you are generally emotionally. There's so many things, right? But it's worth noting.
My favorite holiday shoes. Other favorite pair of holiday shoes. Okay, not only is my boyfriend really hot, he's probably like the best chef in the world, and he's showing off right now. Just check this out.
So this video is not really proving anything directly as much as it's showing you what she was like between 2017 and 2019 and how her behavior is very different now. Now, I'm not going to go into whether she had a stroke or not, like the first TikTok implied, but there were visits to facilities after 2019. People in the comments keep mentioning a very specific facility. The main thing, again, in this video is that there's this disbelief that anything after this is her. So the conspiracy is, and I don't know the timeline, but after 2019, they don't really think it's her anymore. And even if you look at the comments, sure, some of this might be made up, but the general gist still stands of, in the last clip, she has no Louisiana accent, which honestly, if I recall correctly, I've heard her accent change a few times, but whatever about that. Otherwise, it says, bro, I showed my dad who's 70 years old her Instagram and her talking, and he straight up said, that's not Britney Spears, that's an impersonation, that's not her. Again, all of this could be made up, but the comments are basically all the same. They're saying that it's not her. Whether it's because of her accent, later on you'll see it's because of her teeth. And the tooth thing is honestly kind of compelling because it doesn't really make sense. We'll get to that. But there's this belief that she's not here. And that, like I said, could extend to death, or it could just extend to this is not her, as in she's being impersonated, she's being held somewhere, they're not letting her go online. I don't know.
Something about Britney Spears just doesn't feel right. The captions on her posts keep repeating. The backgrounds always look the same. Her smile, her teeth, even the way she moves, completely different from before. Fans say that's not the real Britney. Some believe she's either gone or being kept somewhere. And every time people ask questions, her videos get stranger. The lighting, the filters, the blank stares. Almost like someone's trying to make her look alive. But is it editing, a clone, or something darker? Nobody knows what's really going on. What do you think?
So in this video, if you look at the comments, there are comments that say, I believe whoever that is getting paid to make people believe Britney Spears is alive and well to avoid consequences of what they did to her. Someone else said, AI, this person is bald. Whoever is editing her videos low-key wants us to know because they hide 0.1 second clips of a flash of the AI being off or shows something else that's scary. And then the poster says, I never noticed that part, but now that you pointed out, her hairline is moving constantly. Holy shit. Again, some of this I think goes very deep into conspiracy territory in the sense of if you are convinced that something is the case, you will find clues whether they're there or not. You know, kind of like when you write an essay backwards, you decide what the conclusion is, so you're going to make everything fit with a conclusion instead of having everything build up and lead you to a conclusion. So I think that people that want to see the conspiracy will find it no matter what. That being said, because of what has happened with Britney historically, it's hard to not be suspicious because as far as I know and as far as I think, her family is not supportive in terms of especially her father. I don't know about her sister. I've read things, but who knows the ins and out of it all. But it just seems like there's always been something off about how she's been treated, especially since the conservatorship was established. And I think that's really what fuels all of this, because realistically, if the conservatorship hadn't happened, we might say that she's acting weird, but it would seem less, I guess, plotted. Whereas here, it seems like there's a distinct enemy, as opposed to a mental illness, a condition, whatever the case may be. Those are external factors, right? Those are biological, psychological, whatever you want to call factors, if she had any of those things going on. On the other hand, if she has a real life enemy, say a father who's keeping her down, say people who are twisting the narrative to make it seem like it's something it's not, if that is the case, that connects pretty directly to the conservatorship, right? But if the case was that she has an illness or a mental illness, I think people would be a lot more chill because it would be obvious and evident. But here we also have to remember that basically she's not really seen out and about. Anything that I've seen tagging her, saying it's her, usually isn't her, or it's very blurry, or it's just a blonde. So it seems like she almost only exists inside her house as far as the public sees. And that could be a question of privacy, but at the same time, it's just all so incredibly odd.
I died. I didn't die, people. I didn't die. I'm here. I'm alive. Yeah, I'm very much alive and well. And I've got my fur here. See, I'm feeling myself. Yeah, feeling myself. Okay, that was really. I'm here. I'm happy and I'm well. And that's it. That's it. Liberty skip. That's it.
Again, here it's also just such an odd thing to address. Like, I'm alive and well, which granted, considering how many rumors go on about her, I can understand coming forward and just being like, hey, I'm alive. The thing is, she doesn't typically do that. She doesn't typically really respond to rumors. It's pretty atypical for her to say anything. Like, most of the time she's talking about her dancing, if she's even talking. A lot of these TikToks that I've seen don't really include talking end of. So she could have just posted a TikTok dancing and she could have let people know she was alive, right? But because the conspiracy theories are so strong, I think she knows that if she posts herself dancing, people think it's an old video, people think it's AI. Like, that is the level of suspicion that surrounds her. So it's a lose-lose, honestly. But if we look at the comments, we have someone saying, these videos have been AI for so long, she's probably been gone for years. That's not Britney. iPhone camera quality nowadays are too good for her vids to always be low quality. Her hair never changing. The outgrowth on her roots is always the same. This is not Britney. So again, of course, here we're only getting the Britney conspiracy theorists or the Britney fans who might also be conspiracy theorists. But at the same time, it's also like, if all these people have this opinion, as much as I think people can be wrong and misinformed and swayed, you have to also acknowledge the fact that if there is a high number of people, we at least need to ask, where is this theory coming from and is it at all credible? And you guys can decide if it's at all credible. I will say I'm incredibly suspicious about all of it. Full on question marks for me. I don't really believe anything I see here, and I think at very best, this is highly choreographed. Highly choreographed. Not just like the dances or whatever. I'm talking about like everything. It's curated, it's choreographed, it's calculated. Now, there are certain TikToks posted of people just showing their face saying, I don't think that's Britney Spears. This doesn't add up. This doesn't sound like her. It doesn't look like her, whatever. And in the comments of a lot of those videos, I'm not going to show you because it's literally just a TikToker's face with that text on it. But anyway, in a lot of the comments of those videos, people are saying how they think it's Jamie Lynn Spears and they're using AI to put Britney's face on her face. And I don't know about all of that. I don't know if Jamie Lynn Spears has any marks on her body that would show that it's her, like visible scars, tattoos, whatever. I don't know about all of that. I didn't dive that deep in. Again, we return to why these conspiracy theories exist, because I think the way that Britney's direct family has acted towards her has made it so that everyone is suspicious of them and their intentions, because it always just has seemed like they haven't really had positive intentions, or that they were toxic, abusive, whatever term you think is most appropriate based on what we know. But that being said, bringing up Jamie Lynn Spears basically being a stand-in for Britney Spears would kind of imply that they're the ones who did something to her, right? Because why would they be stand-ins for Britney Spears if someone else hurt Britney? Unless they want to keep getting money via TikTok, question mark. Otherwise, it just looks like you're guilty, right? Like, you got rid of Britney Spears in whatever way, whether that's sending her off somewhere, whether that's not letting her come online, whether it's something more grim. But still, if you're the one covering it up, we have to ask, why are you the one covering it up, right? If we go along with that theory.
I'm really scared, and this is my last few words to the world. I love you guys. This is it. I'm about to die. They're gonna kidnap me and take me away forever. If anybody finds this tape, I just want to be remembered as a good person.
Okay, guys, we're going to go over some things today with Britney Spears. Now, I have a couple of videos that I have posted about her, but it's extremely important that you guys pay attention to this, all right? I'm a forensic astrologer, and I'm also a death investigator as well. I need to point out some things that I'm seeing in the media and why it's really urgent that people understand and listen that the person on Instagram is not Britney Spears, and they are about to kill her off. Okay, they're saying that she's got brain damage and that they're going to make it look like she either overdosed or died from a brain disease. That is not the case. She was never released from the conservatorship. All right, and I'm going to prove several ways that the person up there is not her and that the person that is portraying her is being trafficked and is losing their mind because they no longer want to pretend to be her. They cannot control her, so they are about to kill her. Now, this is so urgent. This isn't a conspiracy. If you are a fan of Britney Spears, you need to pay attention. This is the real Britney Spears, okay? This is a very elegant woman, okay, who takes care of her skin, who takes care of her makeup, who takes care of her hair, who has a beautiful skin tone. And look at the maturity in her. And this is years ago, okay? She is not a half-wit. She's not somebody who does not know how to speak and speaks like a baby on a video. She also would never dress the way that this person on Instagram dresses. She is a trained dancer. The person on Instagram does not know anything about choreography or any of Britney Spears' classic moves, and nor does the girl ever sing. And when she speaks, she's speaking in different dialects that are not Britney Spears. Britney Spears has a very mature face, and she's aging like all of us. So please pay attention to this video.
As a good person.
I would have to say my favorite food of all time is pepperoni pizza, definitely.
What's my favorite food is a chili hot dog. And what's your favorite music video of yours? My favorite music video is probably Slave. Yeah. The first question that you mainly ask me is what my favorite song is. My favorite song is Toxic that I have done.
My favorite video to shoot was Toxic.
And what's my favorite flower? It's a rose.
Laura from Orlando asks, what is your favorite type of flower? My favorite type of flower, I love morning glories and I love lilies.
My favorite restaurant is Mastro's, just because I love a steak and baked potatoes.
My stomach is so sensitive. I have a steak, I'll be sick for 3 days.
You're kidding me. What would you tell that Britney from 20 years ago?
I would tell that Britney just to believe in yourself and never doubt yourself. And
she also is not writing these books. She's not writing music. And think about it. Someone like Britney Spears, why hasn't she done a book tour? When she wrote a song with the legendary Elton John, how come there was not one performance of her opening the Grammys or anything? She hasn't accepted an award. She's the most iconic woman, and we have never seen her. Like it's over now 7 years that we have not seen her in public. Now, you may think that you saw her in public when she did the conservatorship trial, but that was all done on the phone. And all that footage that we see of her was from years before. It wasn't actually of her in person. They put her right back in, and then they stuck the Instagram one back out there. But Britney Spears is still alive. And if we don't acknowledge this, we're going to lose an icon who has been begging for help. And I have a video that she is crying for people to realize that it's not her. Okay, now I have teamed with other influencers to try to get this message out because I really think that they're about to kill her off. And the only reason that they have had wellness checks, so they're checking up on her anytime somebody makes a claim, but they're keeping the real one. And because who it is, it's BlackRock and it's Diddy. All of these people have their hand in her conservatorship, and that's also K-Fed and her family are making a ton of money from her. They're keeping her alive somewhere else so that they can do her DNA tests and her hair strand tests anytime someone thinks it's not the real Britney that is being trafficked on Instagram. So the Instagram one, I did a chart on her, and I will also show you in this video how I have proven that the person there is impersonating a celebrity and doesn't want to be and is being trafficked, okay? So you're telling me that Ambassador Britney Spears, elegant, refined, wants to spend her days in underwear, just parading around, dancing nonstop in a sexual way in cheap clothing? And her everything is just off. Okay, so please, guys, let's do something about it. Like and share. I am teaming up with people from all over the world to get this recognized. So I appreciate that you take this seriously and not like some conspiracy. This is a real woman who needs help.
I'm going to cut it off at the astrology thing, first of all, because I don't believe in that. I mean, I believe in astrology as far as a lot of Scorpios have the same traits. Sure, I'm apparently a very obvious Scorpio. Sure, whatever. Beyond that, using astrology in this, I'm not a big fan of that. It feels... I don't like it, okay? So I'm just going to leave that part out. If you want to watch it, I'll link the video down below. But what is useful in these clips is seeing the comparisons. It is seeing the discrepancies. That's very useful. So the thing I think we should take note of is the whole thing of her being a choreographer and her dance moves in the TikToks look amateurish, if we want to call it that. We have to count multiple things. So we have to count the fact that even though she's a choreographer, she knows how to dance. That also includes effort. That includes an amount of, I guess, like muscle memory as well, if you're going to do a choreography, to remember what the choreography is, to want to even do a choreography. So as much as the choreography thing doesn't make sense, it's also like, if this person is on heavy medication, if this person is mentally unwell, if this person has anything going on, that can account for any behavior that's deemed as weird, right? If you're having even just a shit day, or if you're tired, I don't expect you to act the same way you acted on stage 20 years ago with whatever choreography, right? So I feel like that is a point, but it's not the strongest point. I do think also the fact that she's a put together person, or she was, that can come unraveling really fast when you're put in a very stressful situation and you're in fight or flight, or you're in survival mode, right? So again, as much as these points, I can see them, I don't deem them as the most valid points out there, because they're very relatively quote unquote easy ways to explain, okay, just mental illness can explain away basically all of this. If we really want to go there, mental illness can drain the life out of you. It can make you uninterested in what you once were interested in. It can make you not want to care about a choreography for TikTok. It can make you wear things you'd never wear. There are plenty of celebrities we've seen who have had mental breaks where really they seem like a different person. However, I think these are contributing factors to what makes it all uncanny. So her not caring about her appearance allegedly, that makes it uncanny. Her doing these types of dance moves when she knows how to dance really well, that makes it uncanny. But that is just the tip of the iceberg, in my opinion. So unfortunately, the clip that I had included of Britney Spears from the documentary did get copyrighted as predicted. So I'm going to give you a basic rundown of what happened in the clip, and I'll link it in the description box if you want to see the TikTok. It's about 3 minutes. Anyway, what happens here is very telling, because basically she's with these friends. We don't get to see these friends. It cuts between her and then her at some kind of tattoo appointment. And when she's just talking freely, she's talking about how she's afraid to be happy because she's scared that that's going to get snatched away from her. And so it's easier to just feel nothing all the time. Obviously, when she says this, it's extremely sad. It's not a lighthearted moment. But aside from that, when we cut back to her at this tattoo appointment, it's her saying that she's very angry about the situation that she's in, the lack of freedom, the lawyers, everything that she's already previously mentioned. And when she says that she's very angry, these friends that we do not see start laughing. And in fact, it cuts back to her saying that there are plenty of times where she's tried to speak up, but people don't take her seriously, or they're just kind of hearing what she's saying without listening. So the implication here and the implication now, as opposed to when this was filmed, is that people were not listening, but she was telling us all along. I think here we get to see a little bit more inside Britney's world in terms of how she was feeling and how she was dealing with the stress at hand. I think this is probably one of the most useful pieces of evidence. The only issue is that this evidence is compelling, but it's not compelling to the extreme we need it to be, in the sense of she's sad, from my gathering, she's overworked, she's stressed out, she doesn't have full freedom to do what she wants. So there are a lot of things in the way here, but I think that realistically, after this, it got way, way worse. So when I say that this is evidence, but it's not extreme enough, it's because I think this was when it was starting and when it was still quote unquote manageable. I think that as time went on, it got significantly worse, like really significantly worse, to the point where she wasn't even allowed to speak out anymore. And I don't know if even this is part of it. Did she say too much even just here? And they were like, we're going to pull the plug on this. So I think this is useful evidence, but I think that we don't have the parts where she really goes into how bad it is. And that would be realistically the evidence we'd need, right? Because this is from quite a while ago. And what she is saying is sad and disturbing, but relatively mild to whatever was going on then, and definitely mild compared to what's going on now. So it is evidence, but I think it's a very soft version of the evidence. I think if she could speak openly today, what she'd be saying would be gut-wrenching and traumatic and a bunch of other things.
Okay guys, so my book is coming out very, very soon. I worked my ass off for this book. I had a lot of therapy to get this book done, so you guys better like it. If you don't like it, that's fine too. Either way, I'm going to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Yeah, go, Majigo. Baby, why don't we go to Majiga? Coco, Macasas.
Too much.
Okay guys, so I just got finished with my book. It's coming out very soon. I worked my ass off for this book. I had a lot of therapy to get this book done. So you guys better like it. And if you don't, that's cool too. Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. I'm out of here. So, bye guys. Hope you like the book. Okay guys, so my book, The Woman in Me, is coming out October 24th. I'm doing the finished touches on it right now. And I hope you guys like it. It's coming soon.
There are a lot of things in this clip. So people have pointed out that her teeth look different. And if you'll notice, there are gaps in some of her teeth. And initially, when people said her teeth look different, I just kind of assumed, okay, she got veneers, whatever. But the gaps in the teeth are very odd because I can't really explain them, because if those were your original teeth, which I don't think they were, why wouldn't you put veneers to cover them again? Because it looks odd with the gaps. Not bad, but just odd. And then if those are your real teeth, why weren't they like that? You know what I'm saying? There's a discrepancy between what we saw before and what we see now, and surely there are procedures you can do. It's just very odd that she'd choose this. And I don't know if this is, like I said, because she removed veneers, though. Don't they have to shave your teeth down to put on veneers? So how does that work? And this is part of the theory of why it's not her, or she was body snatched, or it's a clone, or it's not her, basically. A lot of it comes from the teeth, which is fair enough because those are a big marker, though, of course, like we said, there are procedures you can do. It's just like, why would you leave them like this with these gaps? There are also people in the comments saying that her teeth look like Jamie Lynn Spears' teeth. Again, I did not dive in that deep. Maybe that is the case, but again, I just have a lot of question marks here. On top of that, there's the obvious in this TikTok of the person saying too much. Also the mouth breathing that you can hear. And this kind of goes on to fuel the fact that what Britney Spears is posting might not just be scripted, but is curated to the T. So it's not like they just hand her a script and not like, okay, say this, but more like, we're going to give you a script, you're going to say what we're telling you to say, and we're going to hold the camera, much like, kind of like holding a hostage, right? The camera is the gun. Do exactly what we say in the way we say, and if you're not doing it exactly as we want, we'll tell you to stop and start again and do it the way we want. And honestly, there's no trajectory here that I can imagine realistically that isn't concerning. They're all terrible trajectories. Like in one of them, you're kind of held hostage by the conservatorship and you're forced to make these weird TikToks. In another one, it's not you and you're maybe dead, or they have you somewhere else and maybe you got cloned, who knows? Like, there's no happy ending here, and that's what's also concerning to me. And if you recall hearing in one of the TikToks I showed you, she hasn't been seen in public, like on a stage or anything, in a very long time, even accepting an award like was mentioned, right? So what I wonder is, why hasn't she been seen in public? There are people like Kristen Cavallari who were saying that they were convinced that she was a clone. There are accounts of the fact that she just refuses or doesn't answer when other celebrities ask her to hang out. And granted, that all could be mental health related. That could be just health related. It could just be like, you're not in the mood, whatever. But the fact still remains is that nobody has seen you at all. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. This was just an initial discussion about this. If you want me to do a full deep dive, I can do that. I'm kind of afraid of what I'm going to come across, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think she's okay, if she's still alive, if she's cloned. What's your take on these theories? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.